Welcome to the Tuesday edition of Flipside Live, coming to you on this February the 4th. It's a few minutes before the top of the hour at 1 p.m. And I'm taking the opportunity of a reliable connection from south of the border to bring you today's edition of the Flipside. As I have stated a few times before, there are numerous benefits living south of the border. However, the negatives are that, unfortunately, internet connection tends to get spotty at times. And so whenever a window of opportunity presents itself, I take the shot that with a bit of luck, we will be able to bring you enough information in a relatively short period of time that will give you a better understanding of what is going on in this crazy world in which we live. Right now, the Dow Jones Industrial Average is substantially higher than it was yesterday. Dow today is up 231 points. Putting forward a face of a lessening of tensions between the U.S. and Russia. Needless to say, once the fear factor has been squashed, it is a opportunity for the gold manipulators to hammer the price. Gold currently down $15, erasing the $30 gain that it made yesterday. My friends, what we are dealing with right now is a very fluid situation. Where anything possible that could happen can happen. I don't think I'm being overtly dramatic by saying we are at a stage in history where you could actually go to sleep one night and wake up and the world that you knew before you went to sleep no longer exists. A quick gander of the various news sources that I have at my disposal on a daily basis, not only locally U.S. media, but I do have access to overseas media. There is a collective effort, shall we say, by the mainstream media's propaganda machine, because that's all it is, are doing their darndest to convince everybody that everything is fine in Ukraine. Stocks are soaring today, and the selling pressure on gold is nothing but pure propaganda. Dr. Paul Craig Roberts says it's possible that Washington could have come to its senses overnight. But on the other hand, it is also embarrassed. Washington has lost control, and it looks as though the southern and eastern provinces are demanding to go back to Mother Russia. This isn't something the Russians have fomented. It's the people there that have made that call. So there is a great danger, because of the many threats that the U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry has made to Russia, at which the Russian response was those threats made by John Kerry were unacceptable. The Russians are not going to permit the loss of their naval base in the Crimea or their military-industrial complex in eastern Ukraine. These are military-industrial cities. This is all now threatened by this change in Kiev that America engineered. According to Dr. Roberts, this situation is now more dangerous than the Cuban Missile Crisis. If the Americans have to save face, and they can't admit that this was something they caused, and they continue to demonize Putin and Russia, the danger to the world is immense. Everyone in the U.S. mainstream media is calling for war. One retired general on Fox News was saying, "We can whip the Russians easy. They can't shoot straight. We should attack and send troops to Poland and send the U.S. Navy to take the Black Sea base from the Russians." I mean, this is crazy stuff. This is insane talk coming from a member of the military-industrial complex. The Russians are not going to be backing down anytime soon. They can't. It would be a strategic disaster for them to lose the Black Sea base or lose the military-industrial complex in eastern Ukraine. So the lines have been drawn. What happens in the Ukraine has serious consequences for Russia. So they have a huge stake in Ukraine. But the administration in Washington is not sufficiently intelligent enough to be aware that they feel that they somehow got to try and save face. Regardless of what happens, there's no question that the relationship between Washington and Russia has been poisoned. The Russians now see Washington as a reckless, irresponsible entity that tried to subvert an area of great strategic importance to Russia. The American government is too full of hubris and arrogance to accept such a defeat. So I think this crisis is not over by a long shot. They are going to continue to push aggressively. And what Washington doesn't understand is that unlike Iraq, Syria, Libya, when you push Russia, Russia would have the tendency to push back. So we may have escaped a bullet short term, my friends, but remain vigilant. This is still and will remain for an extended period of time a active and volatile situation. Well, without wanting to push my luck any further, I'll conclude today's segment of breaking news on the flip side, and hopefully we'll be able to do the full hour on the micro effect coming up at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Till then, see you, bye.